Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. So I'm doing something a little different, so please bear with me as I figure out how to work out these reviews. But I'm doing something with this club called the Super Inc. Movie Club, where we all review the same movie once a month, and July's pick is A Clockwork Orange. So I'll put a link below to where you can see all the reviews from everybody and see everybody's, take on A Clockwork Orange. So of course, again, I'm trying to figure out how I'm doing these sort of reviews. So, hopefully this goes well and we'll see, how it feels. So A Clockwork Orange is from 1971 and of course is directed by Stanley Kubrick, and it is my second favorite Kubrick movie, right after The Shining. My personal experiences growing up with A Clockwork Orange was that in high school, if you wanted to be the cool, interesting, artistic person, you always said you liked A Clockwork Orange. So I rented Clockwork Orange a bunch of times from Blockbuster because I'm that asshole. So I've seen this a whole bunch of times, but it's actually been a very long time since the last time I really sat down and watched it and, really soaked it in. So it's kind of cool to get some fresh eyes on this and see how it feels over time. Because it's been like 5 to almost 10 years since I've seen this movie. And of course, overall in the, popular culture of the world, Clockwork Orange has sunk in very deeply. I mean, there's references in The Simpsons.
And cap off the night with a little of the old in-out. In, out, in.
Here's a film that will turn you into a vicious, soulless killer. Enjoy.
In South Park.
And so I knew I must act. A coon must know when to defend itself.
Heath Ledger said Alex, the main character of A Clockwork Orange, was a huge inspiration for the Joker. And Quentin Tarantino said that the singing in the rain scene was a huge inspiration for the stuck in the middle scene in Reservoir Dogs.
Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the
Singing in the road, just singing in the road. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again.
So, Clockwork Orange is in our popular culture. So what is my full take on A Clockwork Orange? So if you haven't seen A Clockwork Orange, first of all, why are you watching this review? Go watch A Clockwork Orange. It's really good. But anyways, the basic plot of A Clockwork Orange is it's through the eyes of our main character, Alex, who is a violent 15-year-old gang member who revels in being violent, and of course this leads him to being arrested. Once he's arrested, he's put through a very controversial treatment. They give him drugs that make him sick and then make him watch violent films while being sick to kind of give him that negative connotation and make him feel sick once he is in violence again. And then once he's released, his life of violence catches back up with him. So obviously, the main takeaway that I have of this movie, of course, in my high school style book report, is this movie is all about violence and our relationship to violence, and violence in sex, and violence in popular culture. It's all very much, Alex sees violence as beauty. He has this whole bit about how he's talking about beautiful music that's accompanied with a lot of violent images, and how much he just loves and he's enthralled with violence. He calls it the old super violence. I mean, he loves it. And, can we change our violent ways? And this treatment, although working, is that going too far in removing our choice to not create violence? As a normal, regular person, you have a choice to be violent or not to be violent. And depending how you're wired, you go either way. And it's this whole section of violence, and it's a really good, deep, interesting way to think about it. And the way it's shot is so fantastic because in the beginning, when Alex is in love with violence, you see a lot of sexual artwork. And I take it as we're seeing the world through Alex's eyes. Everything is either sex or violence. In a 15-year-old mind, it's kind of true. So, all this sexual artwork along with all this violence, and maybe that artwork isn't really as sexual as we think, but through Alex's eyes it is. And I think we're really just seeing it through Alex's eyes. Because once he's treated and can no longer, stomach violence, the world is way more toned down. You don't really see the sexual artwork. You're seeing the regular, real world. And, how toned down that is. And we're seeing, how violence affects regular people kind of thing. And that is an amazing way to look at this. And it's something I haven't always noticed, but I really saw it this time, and it was fantastic. Some of the other things that stick out to me personally is their use of language. It's very flowery, metaphorical language, almost Shakespearean, not just because it's British idioms and their accents, but it's definitely like just a flowery, metaphorical language. So it makes it feel Shakespearean. It's got a rhythm to it, and I really like that. On top of, it's sort of very much of the 70s, but it's also very much out of time. Like, some of the clothes and the look of things you're like, oh yeah, that's the 70s. But it's also sort of out of time where you can still relate to it today. So I love how that mix really hits there. And of course, this is Malcolm McDowell's first feature-length movie, and he just nails it as Alex. He's so creepy, so scary, and just like when you see something to that extreme. And so, yeah, I cannot, suggest watching A Clockwork Orange enough. If you really haven't seen it, check it out. And what do you think of The Clockwork Orange? So let me know in the comments below. And let me know what you think of this style of review. It's a little bit different than what I'm going to do because I can't do my regular style review with something like this. But I like this. I like checking out some old movies and talking about them. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button and leave some comments below. I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard, and if you don't mind, I'm going to check out some of the old Ludwig van.